are we on? Let's see here. Settings are... Okay, I think... Wait, we are not on. Hold on. Charmy, hey. Ooh, hello, 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 hello. We're here. So, oh gosh, I so wish I could have this on a bigger screen, but, and so I could read all the comments, like, while I'm doing this. But anyhow, Scorpio, oh. So yeah, like, in advance, if I don't respond, like, to your, your message, I'm gonna read them after. Buffering. Why is it buffering? What's up with that? Why is it buffering? October 26th. Is it still buffering, guys? Or can you see me and it's all right? I swear, I was like, I gotta do a live. No, I can't. I can't pass the new moon in Scorpio without doing, you know, some kind of like little thing. Because the vibe is on, you know what I mean? Okay, yay. So how's everyone doing? How many of you here are actually Scorpios, and where in your chart do you have Scorpio? There we go. 44 people in the room. The vibe is on. How many of you are Scorpio suns? Scorpio moon. Oh man. Scorpio moon. Happy birthday, Victoria. Scorpio Venus, Sun ascendant. What are we getting into? Good question. Scorpio Mercury and Sun. Scorpio Sun and Moon. Scorpio all over my chart. Oh man, Alex. I did a reading for someone one time on the birth chart, and it was like they literally have Scorpio. She might trail in later. She's got Scorpio, like Sun, I think Mercury, Venus, I think Mars, yeah, and it's all in the 8th house. So yeah, what a powerful time, right, guys? I mean, it's not only the new moon in Scorpio, we're also in Scorpio season, and Mercury is going into retrograde. It's actually in pre-shadow period. So, and it's in Scorpio. So, you know, we got a lot of Scorpio all over the place here. And so it's a really powerful time, right? And I'm curious to know, those of you who got a lot of Scorpio in your chart, what area of life are you feeling it in the most, like, right now? Where do you feel that this kind of conversation is happening, specifically as it relates to the concept of power, release, cleansing, detoxification, healing, regeneration? Where does this kind of come through for you? And do you guys feel already things are coming up from the past? Do you already feel that? Cutting a crazy... Oh man. Lush. Hey. Yeah, see, I'm a Pisces sun, but I've got a lot of Scorpio, and those of you who've watched for quite some time probably know by now, my rising sign is Scorpio. Hey Terry, thank you so much. Yeah, last time I did this, everyone was like, super chat, turn it on. And I was like frantic. I remember I was in Japan and I was like on my phone and my computer, I didn't have Wi-Fi, and I was like trying to, you know, put twigs together and it just wasn't working. So yeah, but Scorpio Stellium, who's this? Marker Silent Dreamer. And thank you so much for always commenting. I always read your comments, markers. It's so cool to always feel you here. Scorpio stellium, that's wild. I can only imagine. Yeah, so I have actually Scorpio rising, and I've got Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, in the first house. It's like pretty much conjunct my angle by a few degrees. So, and it's in Scorpio. Then I got my moon in my first house in Sagittarius, which just dips out of Scorpio. And hey, so everyone who's tuning in, yeah, I'm like on my phone and I'm reading these little comments, so if I don't like respond, I'm gonna read like all of this later, I promise. Okay, like if you like type something and I don't respond, don't take it, Scorpio personally, because I know, Scorpio can get intense, and all of that. So anyways, but I've got Pluto, yeah, again, in my Mars Scorpio, my Pluto in my first house. And so, a lot of this energy for me is coming through also in terms of Aries, Mars, the first house, the rising sign ascendant. That's right. Solavi. So yeah. And I got Mars in the 8th house, the house of Scorpio. So yeah, there's a lot coming up here, and everyone's got Scorpio somewhere in their chart, right? Most of you, obviously probably major Scorpio placements. That's why you're here, or you just want to see me live. My mom's in my new boss day. That's so cool, Mimi. It's so funny because like sometimes I'll do the readings and I'm like, don't know how that could relate. Thanks so much, Crypnosis. It's so good to always read you in the comments. I remember you. Yeah, and sometimes I'll like do the readings and I'm like, okay, well, whatever that means. And then, like comes the end of the month, I'm like, whoa, okay, that's what that was talking about. And it's kind of interesting, like how synchronicities can come through. And yeah, and Lush, thank you. Are you doing the moderating? I'm like not used to this, so I don't know. I just see a little like wrench next to your name. Wait, oh my god, why is it disappearing? Yeah, like you had a whole thing with dogs on these readings. It's so funny. Unikoi, intuition, and thank you so much to Junior. Oh, so good to feel you here too. And so yeah, it's like, so thank you. You know how many people come up to me and they were like, I love your space jacket. I love your space jacket. Like that's the look I was going for. Too cool for Earth. Too cool for Earth. What does it mean when a sign house doesn't have a planet in it? Well, where am I located? Okay, wait, I want to go back to that dog thing because that was so funny. Okay, like specifically, I don't know what's been going on with Capricorn. Okay, bring back moon boots. I'm on it. Next time. Do we have Jay Han in the house? He's always got comments going about wardrobe and whatnot. But yeah, so the Capricorn readings have been just, I don't know, there's this vibe that has come through in the Capricorn readings that are like, oh, JC, hey, aw, so much love to you. Moon boots from the 80s. Yeah, so it's like Capricorn, I don't know, there's something going on. There's just, the vibe is so funny. Like, I don't know how many people were really tuned into that October Capricorn reading, but I was dying during that reading. Oh my goodness. And then Capricorn came through with that whole Chihuahua thing, which was also really, really interesting. And that's my North Node, so I think I should probably watch that one again. You watch them all at 3 a.m. Why is that? Is there a reason to that? Capricorn and Neptune. Cap first house. What is life right now? So yeah, somebody asked, you know, if you don't have planets in a certain house, there are like so many factors. If that person's still tuned in, there are so many factors that can be at play. So many, like in the birth chart, like it's unbelievable. It's literally like an extrapolation of so many different factors, and you know, you can watch the birth chart a number of times, and it can speak to you in different ways. You can find different things about it that are even, you know, interesting, curious, and then you'll look through it again and you'll find something completely new to analyze and bring into the mix. So, you know, without drawing a generalization, the way I look at astrology and the birth chart is kind of like, you know, it's like you've got paint, and every house has like paint, every sign has paint that it's associated with it. If you've got a lot of planets in a certain house in a certain sign, or a strongly placed planet that's, let's say, conjunct an angle, or at an advanced degree, or again, so many factors going to be at play, conjunct the sun, or the moon, Jupiter, okay, any planet, any sign that is associated with Jupiter as well, Jupiter in a sign, Jupiter also in a house, again, so many factors at play, you know, will kind of, you can think of it as there's a lot of paint in that one bucket that's associated with that sign. Now, it's all relevant, right? At the time of your birth, every constellation was present. And so you're kind of this emanation of all colors in a way, but you know, every painting will be different. So, you know, some have a lot of a certain frequency. And, you know, in those cases, like for example, if you've got a stellium in a certain sign, in a certain house, in a certain element even, then you'll find there's a lot of that energetic sort of propensity at your disposal. And what you do with it, how you channel it, you know, that is the question. So what other things are interested with working with besides astrology? So has anyone looked into starseed analysis? Reiki? Yeah, maybe hey, I'm telling you, it's like one of the only ways I could think of it. Like, it's literally like paint. And so people, if you've got a lot of energy in a certain, for those of you who got Scorpio stellium, it's like, this is a beautiful time to really reflect and heed. Take a close look at how is this energy manifesting in my life. Okay, so Scorpio, associated with Pluto, the 8th house, associated with also Mars. It's a kind of like a fusion of fire and water. How is it that these propensities are being channeled consciously? Matters related to the concept of power, creation, right? Detoxification, healing, regeneration. For those who've got a lot of Scorpio in your chart, inborn healers, right? You feel things deeply. And that level of empathy can, you know, Scorpio is a fixed water sign, right? But it can feel overwhelming, right? It's like, I'm feeling so much. What's going on? Why am I feeling this? Okay, what's going on? Why? What's the point of what I'm feeling? And so placing it as an ability can sometimes help. Well, I have this ability, you know, to feel the energy of, let's say, others. What is it that I do with this? And so sometimes it's, you know, again, the moon cycle that can bring certain things up for review, and you'll feel it more strongly. Like, specifically, it's interesting around whenever the moon goes into Gemini, okay, I feel specifically my Scorpio energy, like really strongly. Like it comes into serious focus for me around that time. Because, for example, my Mars is in the house of Scorpio and it's in Gemini. So it's interesting. Around certain points in the moon cycle, you might find that certain energies really culminate. Yay! Thank you so much for tuning in. Starseed. Hello, Mystic Greek. Get the ding dong. Get the ding dong out. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that though. Gosh, I'm like squinting. It's just so bad. I wish I had this on a bigger screen. Has anybody ever heard of human design? I think I have heard of that. So, by Dana. Dana? We see your comments there. Yeah, so, oh, did somebody ask stellium? Yeah, whenever you have like 3 to 5 planets. Aloha. Stellium. Oh, Dana, thank you. He's like giving me compliments. I'm not reading these comments. Like, I can't. It's just, it's going so quickly. And so anyways, Moon Bay. I have a little bit of a headache, actually. Yes, I watch like every night. Oh. So yeah, Vedic or Western. So it's interesting because we're every sign, right? But like in Vedic and Western, you'll see different kind of patterns. In Vedic, so all right, I want to throw this out there. And I don't think anyone really knows my birthday here, maybe except for a few people. But in Vedic, so in general, okay, I'll throw this out. In general, for those who don't know my sign, what sign do you think I am? If you had to guess my sun sign. So like before you really maybe even like watched me, before you really got to like kind of like, you know, see my work in a way, what energy did you feel? And then I'll tell you like my Vedic and my Western. Oh, see, this is so interesting. Kyra, that's so interesting. Pisces, yeah, a lot of Pisces, okay. Pisces. Okay, another Aquarius. Okay, lots of Pisces. Sag. Aries. I got a lot of Aries. Gemini. Aquarius. Interesting. Leo. Yeah, a lot of Leo. So, interesting. You guys are literally hitting all of my main, my main energy, my main energy stations, if we can call it that. Followers from Egypt. Woo. Oh my gosh, I want to tell you guys actually about something that I'm super, super excited about. But I'll tell you this like right after I read a little more what you guys think I am. Scorpio first. Okay, I know. I'm like dying to tell you. So, okay, in Vedic, I am a Aquarius, autumn. France, I'm an Aquarius actually in Vedic. And I think my moon is Scorpio in Vedic. But what's so interesting, also in Western, I'm a sun sign. I don't remember my Venus in Vedic. But I'm a sun sign Pisces in Western. And I'm a moon sign Sagittarius in Western. My rising sign is Scorpio in Western. And I have Venus in Aries in Western. My midhaven is in Leo. My Jupiter is in Leo. And my Mars is in Gemini. My North Node is in Capricorn. So it's like, it's interesting. But see, that's just the sign placements. But the house placements, that adds a whole nother dimension to things. So like, for example, my moon is in my first house. So it's in Sagittarius, but it's in the first house. So it's like, you know, you're adding these two like ingredients together, these two flavors together. Sagittarius playing along with Aries. Okay. But they're under the domain of Scorpio, at least for a certain period of time, because Scorpio is my rising sign. So it's like Scorpio is like kind of the like the teacher of that class. Okay. And so there's Sagittarius and, you know, Aries, and then there's the element of the moon itself. So it's like, you know, it's interesting. It's kind of like a language. How do you bring these different also facets together to create a broader conversation? So it's kind of like, you know, it's like even like an orchestra of energy. Let's see. And so my Venus is in, so those of you who said Virgo, my Venus is in the house of Virgo. So you might find that you feel a lot of that energy coming through, like when I do, when I'm working, for example, if I'm doing some kind of like work, Scorpio moon, oh man. So I just recently, it's so funny. See, this is what I mean. When you can look into the birth chart, but it's like, that's not all there is. There are so much to it. And I've been reading my birth chart for like at least 3 years or so, 4 years, 5 years, even, before I started tarot. And so, and like, I would be analyzing this thing, and then, it was just recently that I looked at my chart again, and I'm like, wait a second, hold on a second. I think my moon is conjunct Pluto by like 13 degrees. It's on the farther end of that conjunction, but it's also in the same house, and, so the moon in Sagittarius is also in the house that's ruled by Scorpio in my chart. So it's like, there is that element of that Plutonian nature that could affect the moon plate. And so it started to kind of like make sense in a lot of ways. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of, do you really, Steve? How cool. Your Libra moon sign frustrates you. It keeps you in conflict with yourself. Pisces sun and Libra moon. Yeah, well, when the moon goes into an air sign, my sister actually has moon in Gemini. Oh, thank you, Steve. That's so good to hear. It has really changed a whole lot. It's like, the air moon can be, again, so many factors can be at play, but it's like you take, what is the internalization of your experience on a certain level, like we're personal connection to yourself, really, and you kind of filter it through the lens that is thought through. So it's like, how do I think about what I am, even what I feel. And so there could be so much of an analytical propensity there. And specifically in Libra, it's like, I want to balance. You want to balance. You want to connect with others also, which is like connecting through, though, the private space. So it's kind of like, how do I connect to myself and others at the same time? And with the Pisces sun, that's like, you feel naturally that there is not really a distinction there to begin with. So it's like, the transcendence of all boundaries, like we're all connected, and oh my. Then you bring the moon in Libra, and it's like, again, so many factors may play as a general. Scorpio sun, second decan, Leo ascendant. People say I'm very mysterious and friendly. Interesting. Scorpio sun will give you that mystery. And I think I've mentioned this before in another reading, but it's funny because, like, when people first meet me, okay, they're like, this is like before they actually talk to me, okay, but it's like, if they just see me, let's say even, I don't know, like in public or something, you see me walking around or something, and then they actually talk to me, like, later on, almost everyone, they all it's like a confession, they like confess, I thought you were so intimidating. You look so mean. And I'm like, oh gosh. And then they're like, but then, like, I got to know you, and you're totally not like, so it's, and it's probably the Scorpio rising with the Pluto conjunct the ascendant. Thank you, Pluto. You just won't get pickpocketed that way, I guess, like, that's the upside. Pisces sun, but my Libra moon, stresses my creativity, and then my Aries rising flips out. Aries rising, oh my. Yes, I have been manifesting for you to catch my energy. Catch your energy, Sonny. Yeah, so, well, how exciting. The new moon in Scorpio, man. We're digging deep here, all right? Like, have no fear. This is the time, like, if there is a time in the year, okay, for you to really, like, also follow the yellow brick road into your subconscious, and you know, I don't know why I'm having this thought, that's weird. Okay, I think I am a little scared of where it might lead me if I do follow it. Now is the time. Okay, now is the time. The energy is so conducive for the point of also recognizing what triggers us, and You know, that will be the sort of name of the game this whole month through, leading into November, right? It's all about understanding where we channel also our power, our ability, our gifts, our talent. You know, because Scorpio is all about also having an impact in some kind of way. And I'm getting motivation here, so there could be a focus for someone tuning in. What does Capricorn... Yeah, to say it in the way, like, you know, what motivates you? What moves you? What is real for you also? You know, Pluto doesn't really mess around. Like, Scorpio's not going to sit there and just smile and say, you know, it's all good when it's not. Like, that's... And for those of you, I don't know if you watched a Scorpio reading yet, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. The visual, like, I don't know if it really, I hope it came across, because the feeling was so strong for me when I was recording that reading. It was like, as if Pluto is a person, like, you know what it feels like? Oh my God, I just see it. This is where you come to draw certain conclusions, like, after the effect. The Capricorn reading, I don't know how many people here might have tuned into that reading, but the Capricorn reading for October, the one where I was wearing that hoodie, and it went into, like, what was her name? Callie. It was like that little kid who, like, spills all of the damn beans, okay, about this certain surprise, like, everything that is, like, okay, I'm gonna recap here, because it's just, like, a really fun plot. Okay, I got such a kick out of that, I don't know why, but anyway, so, like, yeah, 12th house. So it's like, gosh, I was dying of laughter during that reading. Oh my goodness. Now, that's my North Node. But anyhow, so yeah, she told the whole thing. Like, so there was like this house, quick recap for those who didn't watch that Capricorn reading. It's a Capricorn October reading. Again, I was wearing like a maroon hoodie. Anyways, so like there's like this house of like, you know, the way I saw it was like of guys who lived together, and you know, they were like, well, there was like one emperor, okay, one emperor personality in the whole house who like was planning some sort of also, you know, some event of some kind. And so there was like all these like, you know, hidden factors that went into the planning stages that naturally, I guess, they didn't want leaked. Okay, so, and again, that could apply in so many ways. It could be something metaphorical, not literal, but to say it in a general way, then this character comes through in that spread. Like, it was this like little kid who was like involved, like somehow participating in the process, and clearly, like, you know, saw what went into it. Okay, you know, has all of this also insight and foresight into, you know, what might come about. And so, oh my, this character, like, so they invite, and the guys in the house, they invite someone over. I don't know, I'm hearing Sheila here, like right here, right now. I don't know what that's alluding to, but anyways, and so this the gray pepper, oh my God. I just can't. And so this little kid like sits down with the person who they invited, right? And it's like throwing a surprise, okay? And you know, you don't want like necessarily for your child to go tell the guest that you had like, you know, waited for this moment for like forever, right? Okay, anyway, so this little kid like literally sits down with the person who they invited and just spills all the beans. Okay. And it's like from start to finish, this is what happened. We were all waiting for you, and da 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 da, and da 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 da, and we were talking about this, about you before you came, you know, all that good stuff that you never wanted, okay, to get past along the grapevine. Well, it did, and so that's kind of like the vibe here, honestly, with this month, you know, with Scorpio energy. With Mercury retrograde, and in the Scorpio general reading, it was really like that. Like, Pluto comes out of absolutely nowhere, okay, with this huge ass flashlight, trying to light everything up, like, and it was really like that feeling of that little kid. So, they want to pull all the feels out. Well, what do you mean? I want out completely. I wish I could pull all the feels out. Please help, I can't stop crying. Whoa. Piscean priestess. So, okay, what question for you? if you know, what are your main placements? What are your main placements? He's a Scorpio. What are you? What's up with your space? Scorpio. Oh, here it comes. Oh, no. Oh, no. What does that mean? Can someone give me some insights here? This Scorpio accent, what's that about? Who just tuned in? Who just tuned in? You're up to bat. Scorpio, Anna. Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, very good. Solavi, yes, ground it. Because if you, what it sounds like is that you have a lot of water in your chart. Okay, and so right now we are in a really testy time. Now this will be interacting in different ways with everyone, depending on what's in your chart, what Pluto is triggering, where Pluto is sitting, right, in the house of, in the sign of, next to the planets of. It's so many factors at play. But in general, there is a whole lot of water energy here at this time, and you know, they're all the tests as well of also I'm hearing trigger points. The Pisces Sun, Scorpio Ascendant, Libra Moon. Okay, and where's your Jupiter? Aquarius Venus? And just quickly, your house placements. What's everything okay on the space station? Yeah, Michael, check. I'm a 21-year-old. Scorpio and Pluto. I wish, I had, a computer for each of these comments. You know? I have Scorpio and Pluto. Does that... Yes, especially wherever Pluto sits in your chart by way of house placement. So... For example, Pluto for me is sitting in my first house conjunct my ascendant. It's also kind of conjunct my moon. So for me, that's bringing up, in a general way, again, there are so many factors at play in the birth chart, but in a general way, it'll most likely bring also matters up for me of Aries, the first house, Mars. What state am I in? Anna, what would you guess? Uranian alien, we're just flowing with it. Okay, Pluto's at the wheel. He has some things he wants to dig up. Okay, we're gonna just let him. Yo, cool jacket. I swear I've gotten so. We were talking about this earlier. People come up to me, and it's at the level where now I'm getting the pattern now. If they're coming up to me, it's not because they recognize me from YouTube, okay? Now it's the ratio is shifting. I was super surprised when I got recognized a few times. Super surprised. Was not expecting it at all. But yeah, now it's people come and they're like, I love your space jacket. I'm like, yeah, that is the look I was going for. Okay, where's the priestess woman? Where'd she go? Scorpio Midhaven squad. Oh boy. So here, Scorpio Midhaven, this is real interesting. Again, so many factors to be at play, but what's interesting about Scorpio Midhaven is, Scorpio is the ruler of the 8th house, right? It's everything that we want to kind of we also connect with on a personal level, right? Scorpio, the 8th house, also rules sex. It rules intimacy. It can speak. There's so many different vibrations, right? And not necessarily different, but a number of vibrational, also kind of lenses through which we can see a certain energy. Scorpio speaks to what we feel kind of in a certain way even consumes us. So if you think about that's kind of personal, right? It's something that is also we may grapple with on a really deep level, then and to a certain degree that can even transcend certain lifetimes. Okay, so whatever that might speak to for a number of you, but yeah, it's intense, it's passionate, and So, and I'm hearing here specifically, there could be a certain level of fear related to that space as well, right? And generally why perhaps Scorpios, those who have a lot of Scorpio in their chart, they can be kind of, they're cautious before they move into a certain space where they might test that space before they really involve themselves in it. And so, and that's usually how you'll be able to tell a Scorpio apart from a crowd, is just the sheer number of questions they ask you. I swear I called it out the other day. This woman came up to me and she was like, like question after question. I was like, are you a Scorpio? She's like, yeah. Anyhow, a number of other reasons too. But anyways, yeah. So, we were saying, yeah. So interesting, right? To take that energy and carry it up into the most public part of the birth chart. Okay, so it's really about illumination. Then it's really that sort of private energy coming to a point of, well, how is it that I'm actually carrying it out, you know, for others also to observe. And so there could be even a focus on how your work sheds light on a certain really public space as well. That, again, there would be so many factors that would be in related there that would determine that. You know, if there's actually an actual physical property related, it could be even, you know, Venus there, or Saturn, you know, something related to Capricorn up there, even Taurus, even Cancer. You know, if you got a lot of Cancer, there might be a focus on real estate in some way. So, a little green-eyed deer. Aww. I love Chicago. It's such a beautiful city. I love you, Nikki. Thank you so much. So, yeah. All right, cool. So how are you guys feeling overall? Because the new moon, I mean, you know, it's... Are you dealing with it? Are you dealing with it? Learn more about your chart. You can Google it. You can go to astro.com, punch in your details, your birth info. Deep dive, punch in your info. And you'll be able to... Very emotional, intensely. Yeah, and so, you know, don't be surprised if there's a whole lot coming up. Okay, from the past, specifically emotions where you're like, it hits you like out of nowhere. You're like, wait a second. The Tower. Oh, wait a second. I haven't felt like that in a really, really long time. What in the absolute world? What's going on? Yeah, so it's like, if that's the kind of vibe, right? Sometimes we can get really, really consumed in that space. We can really feel immersed in it because it is actually such a strong emotional, also I'm hearing conversation, context. For a number of you, that could be something that you really were, it was like, it consumed you in the past. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. But like, it was something that, you know, you felt was also maybe complicated, it was complex for a number of you, intricate. It could have been even a psychological space that you were working through. Now, whatever that space was, whatever the emotion was that was attached to it, that was related to it in some way, okay, it could be coming up for review, especially because we are in Mercury retrograde. Not yet, okay, officially, but we're in the shadow period, the pre-shadow period. Okay, that's like the pre-game. It's just as potent, I think. Sometimes I even feel like it's more potent. Okay. So, yeah, take it as you will. But there's something that perhaps is coming up for review. And it's like, sorry, we need to take out the trash. Like, that's really the mentality of Pluto. It's like, sorry, you know, we had an assignment. Maybe we didn't get it done before, and now we do. So it's like maybe something that even was unclear in a certain way from the past is coming up for clarity, for review, for also revelation. So how many of you have something on the table, for example, that you are thinking of releasing in a public way? And how many of you are waiting, you're in the position as you feel it, of waiting for someone to reveal something to you? What end of the spectrum are you on? Well, that's good, Autumn. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, Jaden. Woo woo. Okay. It's like fun sometimes, right? It's like once you get into that groove of like, yeah, let's clean up. Let's clear the energy out. I want to know my triggers. I want to know what's difficult. I want to know what's testing me. I just want to know, right? Knowledge and awareness is the first step. And then we can understand, oh, you know what? That's why. That's why I was feeling like that this whole time. It's so good to know that that's what I was actually also creating. I'm hearing a message around, okay, so it could be something that was even in the subconscious, like even programmed ideas, concepts that you're like, I'm hearing, I realize that doesn't actually apply to me now. So anything for a number of you, what's outdated, what you feel is like kind of just it's like running in the background. Okay, so you got all these like windows open on your computer, okay, like, and you're like, why is my computer so slow? Okay, like, now the goal is to have like a properly, efficiently working computer, right? It's like you want, the ideal situation is for it to be running smoothly. So it's really that kind of feeling of like, wow, okay, oh my goodness, I realize that I have like 800 windows open. I'm speaking from my personal experience. I'm so that person who literally like opens a window and is like, I might need this someday. I'm gonna keep it open for like 45 more years. And they usually like eventually close out when my computer either has an emotional breakdown and it's like, I can't do this, or the memory just runs out, or someone like picks up my computer and is like, what in the absolute is going on here? You have like 4,500 tabs open. But hey, see, it's good to know. And sometimes in that moment, you know, we might feel defensive, like, don't get at me for having all my tabs open, okay? I have reasons for why they're open. I have a reason, like, if you really think about it, right? Like, energy is in the same way, right? Are we energetically still holding a certain door open, okay, to a certain life experience, a certain way through which we have even perceived of a certain experience in the past? And, you know, those experiences energetically, how do they still operate in our current sphere of also perception? So I'm hearing the community for a number of you. Interesting. Okay. So there could be some, you know, crossover, like how your energy is moving through a public space for a number of you, or how the environment is sort of interacting with your energy space as well. Okay, but that's a whole thing. I'm hearing past lives for a number of you as well. All right. What are the signs that someone is meant to stay in our life? What a beautiful question. Okay, I love this question because it really, it makes us confront the concept of a connection. What does it mean? And it really brings into also focus like the context through which we kind of thrive in this dimension, right? We're all here as infinite beings. We are all, though, in a certain way also independent in our own way, while at the same time connected. And so it's kind of like, you know, how do we make sense of this space where we can have connections with others in physical ways, that we perceive of this connection in a certain way, and yet we also hold an independent sort of ideology as well. I'm hearing that specifically right here. So in some way, how do we connect with ourselves and how do we connect with others? So if there is the possibility, right, to connect with, in a certain way, everyone, what determines the spectrum of how we connect in those experiences with those people? And how are we defining, oh, I have a connection with someone in this particular way? What's the meaning that you give it? Okay, so it's like, the way I see it is that, you know, in a certain way, everyone is a reflection of us, right? Even the people who we perceive in certain times as challenges. I do personal readings, Kyra, as of yet. That's available. You go to alchemyandyou.com. Okay. And you can, it's right up there at the, you can, okay. Anyways, and I would love to read with you personally. All right. Love and light to you. Love and light to you all. And so, yeah, so, we're saying, like, everyone, right, even those who might, we might perceive as posing a challenge for us in that space, in that moment, right? They're still part of the whole conversation, right? Of the grander way in which we are defining what it means to connect in this dimension. Okay. Oh man. So it's like, all right. Yeah, what does connection actually mean? Right? I want to connect to things that reflect me to myself. That can be, one way. That's what a connection means to me, for example. And so it's interesting because we are having a human sort of perspective of this in a certain way, right? We perceive the way that we connect to everything, right? In a physical way, on a sensory level, on an emotional level, right? There's this broad spectrum through which we can connect with this concept of connection, even. So it's really, in a way, it's up to you, right? How do you define? And so, and I'm hearing specifically right here, what's your story, right? If that's the thread that you kind of stitch your life together with, what is it that you feel you are here for, really? And it's like, if you're clear on that, then you'll be clear on all of the characters that come into play to kind of navigate through that space with you. Thank you so much. So sweet of you, Anna. Love and light to you. So it would be so personal, right? For everyone. Sometimes a connection is not a choice, but a force that worked between two individuals, like you once mentioned in one of your readings. Aw. Interesting. And you know what's so interesting? In one of the readings, I don't recall, what was it? I believe it was a Scorpio reading. Perhaps it was a Pisces reading, where it was like talking about this really strong connection. And I had never really kind of seen it like this until this point, perceptively. But it was like, kind of talking about, if two people feel a really strong connection, it's almost like, what's the dimension through which they are observing that connection? And there could be this sort of feeling where it's almost like, is it really like offense and defense? Is it really like you're over there and I'm over here? Or is it really the merging of this space to create another space altogether? And that's what we're interacting with. So, and it's all a matter of your perspective, right? Your vision. And so it was almost like there's this focus on this third entity. It was the Pisces reading. Thank you. So yeah, it was so interesting because when that came through, I started to really digest, a connection that I feel I have very strongly with someone. Oh my goodness. Okay, but in a new way. It's like, oh, that's so interesting. Okay, well, that kind of makes more sense. How we organize our thoughts in our lives determines our energy in every now moment. Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's all a matter of how we perceive of it. And we are really the maestro of that, right? We're really the one who is navigating that space, right? Okay, your gift is amazing. Oh, love and light to you, Lucid. So, yeah, Scorpio, you got some interesting cards here. Okay, coming out for you. You got 3 major arcana, like, right on the table. You got the Fool as well. This is, I'm hearing friction. Okay, interesting. There is, though, also a really exciting feeling here of hope. I'm hearing it in that way, of hope here, with the Fool looking at the Hangman. There's this feeling, though, of wanting to be honest with what it really takes to talk to ourselves honestly about what we need to make this new beginning come full circle. For a number of you, this actually has to do with how your physical body is merging with your energetic body, with also your intuition. Now, for a number of you, you're having signs come to you in a very clear way. Like, it's like you can't dismiss it. All right, be it even for a number of you channeling, you're getting messages, you feel like you're changing, you're transforming in some way. There's something that is also coming to a point of clarity, perhaps for you in some kind of way. And whatever that is, okay, I'm seeing that there is a focus on how you are physically also, Scorpio, allowing certain realities to interesting. I'm hearing to recognize themselves. Thank you, Autumn. So much love and light to you. Autumn has been following for quite some time. Thank you so much for your dear support, energetically, above and beyond all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, so it's like, it's so weird because I just thought of DC, and I know somebody commented that. Anyhow, so it's like there is a focus on, I'm hearing, the translation of our identity in this physical dimension. For a number of you, that's something you're focused on. Okay, and I feel like, maybe not everybody's a Scorpio here, but everyone's got Scorpio somewhere in their chart. So it's just a matter of where that energy is operating in a personal chart. For example, I've got some sun sign Pisces, but I got Scorpio my rising sign. So, for example, I might find, this is just kind of an example, I might find that this energy comes through specifically in terms of how I manifest my vision in a public way, as it relates to my physical body and my persona. Okay, that's just an example. But there's something that is evolving here. Okay, it's evolving big time. So much love and light to you, Goddess Essence. And so I'm hearing translation again here with the Fool and the Hanged Man. And I'm hearing get up and run. Get up and run. Now, for a number of you, maybe there's something that you feel there's an opportunity. It's like a window. It's like a portal. You're feeling like, I'm also getting maybe a lot of, you feel maybe guided to move in a certain direction here, specifically. And yeah, you got the Three of Wands in reverse right at the base of the Fool. So there's some kind of vision you see very clearly. It's a dream. It is a dream. For a number of you, there could be a focus on the number 3. For a number of you, this actually has stemmed from a very challenging, painful space. I'm hearing that, but I'm seeing it as like something that you feel actually is a part of your future, interestingly. Okay, we have the Three of Swords in reverse, Mirror, and Three of Wands in reverse. Like what you moved through, okay, actually you realized I wasn't just moving through it as like through the mud and the muck of it, but I was moving with it into the future. So you realize perhaps for a number of you that whatever the space is of also a new beginning, it speaks of what you also, interesting, I'm hearing you started long ago. I'm hearing that with the Three of Swords in reverse and the Three of Wands in reverse. Like you perhaps were involved in a situation that caused you also to question. And I'm hearing, thank God, what it is that you see your world really as. Sagittarius, I'm hearing right here with the Fool. So there's something that you feel you're actually creating, you're shaping, you're involved in the space of redefining. For a number of you, this is a public space. I'm hearing you are destined to be a performer and you know it, for a number of you, big time. Okay, this is like talking about the public stage. All right, for those of you who have Scorpio in your midhaven, this could be like also controversial for a number of you, where maybe your performance in some ways is even provocative. Okay, also that can go for if you have Pluto conjunct an angle, even the ascendant or the midhaven. I'm hearing that specifically. So yeah, it's like, holy shit. Okay, I feel like this is, again, not for everyone. This is for specifically those who've got even Scorpio in the midhaven, okay? It's like, I feel like I need to be the one who takes out this one tightrope and walks it, like, across the stage for everyone to see. Like, I don't know, I'm seeing someone, like, the Fool's like, okay, guys, here I go. I'm the representative of this act. Like, you know, kind of, like, has this rope, and he feels like he needs to string it across the stage and, like, literally walk it. Gypsy Rose, is that you? Pluto midhaven and Scorpio 10th house. There we go. All right, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about right here. Okay, walking the tightrope here, okay, with the Fool, the bungee cord. Okay, bungee jumping here with the Fool across the stage. Like, there's something, especially you got a lot of Aquarius. I know, Gypsy, you are, right? Aquarius sun, and your moon is Scorpio? Yeah, Scorpio? Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, right? It's not the other way around. You know, even if you got Uranus in the midhaven, or even Aquarius midhaven, Mercury up there, I'm hearing specifically as well. Mercury, I'm hearing Mercury in Aquarius. I don't know, I was just coming through conjunct the midhaven. Oh my, okay, you might feel like I need to totally talk back to my audience sometimes. Okay, oh, and that's, you know, you're cut out for that job. I'm hearing specifically the Death card looking the Fool, like, you can make it. It's me, Pluto, I'm here. This is our point that we need to make to the public. It's transformational. It's not always going to be comfortable. It's going to get some people out of their jammies. It's going to make them feel uncomfortable with a few jokes that we make. But that is kind of the point. And it's like, it's interesting because I was talking to someone the other day about this. And it was literally about, you know, the concept of, like, you know, she was like, I'm doing something and I feel like I need to do something, but you know what, like, people are not they're not gonna really get it. They're not, I feel like they're all, you know, a lot of my audience right now I'm hearing as well is like, they are geared towards this one type of talk, or they're geared towards this one type of, also, I'm hearing foodie nation. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but it's like, you know, they're moved by these certain things, or motivated by these certain things, you know, so I don't really know how what I feel I need to bring out naturally and authentically would resonate exactly with the audience. And it's like, that is kind of the point, right? If you really think about it, you can think of it from two angles. Well, I'm in a controversial space. What I'm carrying out creates change naturally, right? Two wands in the center. Oh boy, for now, you know exactly what this is, and you're super actually, you're comfortable with it, interestingly enough. Now, this is for those, especially if you've got a lot of Aquarius in your chart with Scorpio. You feel, I am a natural born leader. I must sit at the threshold of change. If I'm not, I feel awkward. I'm hearing that specifically. Like, if I don't feel like I'm doing what other people might think is awkward, like, then I feel awkward. So it's like, this is your calling, and you know that, you feel that. In a certain way, you like feeling like you're revolutionizing a certain space. Okay, now let's backtrack again. So what I'm getting is that that's kind of the point, right? Like, if, oh my, sorry about that, Scorpio. If you know, and I'm hearing, I need to tantalize my audience. I'm hearing that specifically. Like, for those of you who also, again, so you got Pluto in the apex of your chart, in the midhaven with Uranus there, okay, or Aquarius as well. All right, there is a fascination, okay, with that. But let's go back to it. So for a number of you, let's say that there's something that, you know, again, you're like, well, that is kind of the point. Again, you can look at that space of, I'm creating change, as like, who's going to jump on the rope with me, okay? Or, you know, who am I going to help transform to the next level? So for a number, if you're, yeah, so this is a matter of, you know, what's my talk really about? You know, is it a matter of merging these two spaces together, like inviting someone to a space that maybe they naturally don't feel comfortable in, trying to create, you know, a middle ground? Or is it, I'm hearing a matter of my happiness. I'm hearing something that makes me happy, something that I feel I need to deliver. Like, if I don't do this, it's like that kind of thing here for a number of you. If I don't do this, I feel like I'm not making myself, I'm hearing also clear for a number of you. Like, there's something that, someone here has like a really strong, they've got like a sharpshooter mentality. Like, they may feel like, I need to stand also my ground, even if it makes me look, again, I'm hearing like awkward. I'm hearing on the offense, defense, like, even if it makes me like obviously stand on the other side of the fence, I need to do that. I'm hearing that specifically, like some of you, you're revolutionary. I'm hearing you actually feel like you're here to break certain boundaries down. Three of Cups in reverse, like, you know, if something doesn't make sense to you, you need to stick your thumb in the air. And I don't know what that's alluding to, but you know, it's time to share the news. Okay, so for Nori, this is a focus on what you're thinking about taking public as well. Father of Pentacles in reverse, Mother of Swords upright. Five of Pentacles upright, all right, Scorpio. Yeah, it's not easy. Okay, we know that, right? This dimension is not a hop, skip, and a jump, right? Okay, we're not just lifting feathers here. I'm hearing we're lifting lives. I'm hearing that specifically. We're uplifting. For a number of you, you're actually working with how you work with energy within a physical context. So, you know, sometimes it's like that space of transmutation, even personally for you, might be physically taxing. Actually, it might be draining for a number of you. Hold on. For a number of you, you're actually like, you are working in a space where you go into like some kind of even, I'm hearing like a really like a space of transition. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Like you work with regeneration for a number of you, big time. And that's the name of your game. Okay, the Devil's in reverse, mirroring the Empress in reverse. Okay, the Hierophant's upright, Nine of Cups upright. Hierophant's looking at the Nine of Cups, the Fool. Keep your eye on your mission. I'm hearing that. So it's like your mission statement here. For a number of you, there's something. It's your truth, Scorpio. It's your truth. It's your value. It's connected to what you value, okay? Now, how do I know? I'm hearing, how do I know what I really value? How do I really know what my mission is? How do I really... It's a matter of your emotional reaction. I'm hearing that specifically. Okay, it's like, what do I really feel in this moment? You know, when I'm in kind of contemplating this concept of also what I want to create. You know, how does it actually make me feel? You will recognize those moments, Scorpio, when you hit that jackhammer, okay, and that little dial goes all the way up, all right? What's that, like, circus game where you take the hammer and you're like, hey, you know, okay? There's no question, and people around you will also give you that feedback. That's another way that you'll know. People in your environment, they'll look at you and be like, Scorpio, I don't know what it is about you today, but you are like a star. Okay, you're glowing, Scorpio. All right, those are your clues. Those are your talks. I'm hearing as well that I'm hearing you seek I'm hearing to test to test the tension in. This is something, as you might feel it, you want to bring to a public space. Okay, so for a number of you, this is a private space, actually, perhaps, that you operate in at times where it could even be a hobby. You know, you're just doing your thing, your arts and crafts even, okay, your music, whatever it is, and you're jamming out, you're feeling yourself, you know, I'm hearing LL Cool J, I'm not sure what that's alluding to, like, whatever it is, this is your personal space. Now, you get into that, like, mentality, okay, so deeply, that mental space, you're actually in the zone, if we can call it that, and then, like, I'm just seeing someone who kind of, like, you know, they're in that, having that moment, they're in that moment, and then they kind of, like, they like walk outside of that space in some way physically. Thank you so much, Andrew. Love and light to you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support energetically above and beyond all. I'm so touched by all of you. Going back to Callie, Queen of Clubs. And Lush, thank you. Thank you again for monitoring this New Moon Scorpio video. All right, yeah, so it's like, you know, there's like this very clear, it's super clear, it's super stark, okay, it's like day and night difference, okay, especially you got a lot of Scorpio in your chart, you will go, you know, from one extreme to the next, okay, at least I know that for myself. I got a lot of Scorpio in my chart, I know when I'm really into something, okay, sometimes to a fault. Walks in the room. 4 hours later, Natalie, you're still here? You're still working on that? What? Yeah, okay. You know, wasn't that Pisces November 2018 reading a testament to that? All right. I know people just hopping on that reading, commenting like, what in the absolute world, 3 hours? Okay, so yeah, you'll know when you're in also the flow state, right? And again, others they will cross-check that for you, all right? They will kind of confirm that for you, okay? And it'll come through a number of times as well. Again, for a number, I'm seeing someone like even in a room, they're like doing something. They're like listening to music or something. They're doing the craft, something, arts and crafts, and it's casual. There's no pressure in that space, okay? Like, it's not like, I'm at work right now, or now is my playtime, I'm doing my playtime things. Like, no, this is something like you just got into that space naturally, all right? Like, you didn't think about it, okay? And then it's like they walk out of that space, and I'm seeing someone like in the environment kind of, like, addresses it. Like, they address it for you. They're like, wait a second. Ten of Cups upright mirror, and the Diamond's card. Wait a second, Scorpio. I think that you've got something about you here. I mean, there's something about your glow, about your hair. I'm hearing I'm hearing like a lion in its lair. I'm hearing you look proud. I'm hearing you look like, and if you think about a lion in its lair, like, that's home, right? That's really like the lion in its lair is at home, is at peace, is comfortable, is confident. So there's something here that is related to your consciousness of your creativity, your creative role here, with the Full mirroring the Temperance card. This has to do with what you see yourself creating, carrying out in a public way. All right, now when you're in that space, now it's interesting because, again, we're thinking about it within the context of a private experience where you're in that private state and you're getting into your flow again, right? That's a private thing. But then when you walk into this public space, people acknowledge what that feeling created for you, okay, on a private level. Now, okay, I know Scorpio's like, I need to take it out of the box, oh my! Lovers upright and mirroring the Temperance card upright. I don't know where this accent's coming from, this Gumby character. I don't know. Okay. Let's go back to the London, the UK. Scorpio! I feel like that's someone's like mother with like a cup of tea in the other room. Scorpio! Oh, great! Ace of Swords in reverse. 9 of Wands upright. It's getting cold, Scorpio! I added milk for you just the way you wanted it. When you were a child. And Scorpio's like, I'm coming. Yeah, just I need to, and I'm actually seeing somebody like in a room. Like they're like a DJ. They're doing like some kind of like DJ techno electronic business. Okay. Not business like business, but like they are immersed. Okay. Like they act as if it's their job. Like that's another clue for a number of you. Like, what's my calling? What's my soul path, life path calling? That's another clue for you. It's like you treat it like a business even when you don't actually, involve yourself in it professionally perhaps quite yet. Okay. Where it's like, I don't need to get paid for this. I want to do it for free. Okay. And it's so funny because that's actually how I kind of got into this space as well, of astrology specifically. I was at this like Thanksgiving, before I started the channel. I was at this Thanksgiving dinner and we were having this like round table discussion. Okay, I was like kind of silent the whole night. And, I've got, it depends. Okay, I can be introverted, extroverted, but, at a certain point, like I was observing more than interacting, more than engaging in that space. And my sister was there, and she had invited me also she had invited me to this party. It was a family gathering, and everyone was there, and we're gathered around, and then, at a certain point, the topic of like, naturopathy or, even healing comes up, and then it leads to astrology, and so we start talking about signs and the like, and at this point I was really interested in astrology. I was getting really into it, okay, but I was technically in another space, okay. I was gonna start a fashion app, and actually it's funny because I did had an interview that I did with my sister. Interestingly, she was the one who was at this event also. She invited me, and okay, we started that way, but we did an interview, and that's actually on the channel, so if you want to watch that, all right? But anyways, so getting back to this, we were at this event, and, Thanksgiving, everyone's hanging out, and so, and then we started talking about astrology, and then I light up, and that was the end. Okay, there was a camp fire, okay, ongoing. It was, you know, there was a fire pit right in the center, but I was the one who was really lit up. Okay, at that point, I was actually glowing, and my sister looked at me and she was like, Natalie, she like pulled me aside. She was like, do you realize like how happy you are right now? And, you know, it's like so funny because I didn't really put it together like that in that moment. Like in the back of my mind, I was like, you know, my consciousness was kind of like, it was like you're creating this app and that's what you're doing and that's your whole show right now. And it's like, but I naturally fell into the character in a totally different act. Like it was natural for me. Okay, so kind of interesting, maybe a little abstract, but again, and so, you know, I was looking at people's charts and I was like, what's your sign? What's your chart look like? Let me, you know, and so it was a natural inclination. Okay, so that's, you know, perhaps another way of knowing what is it that I actually want to create, right? It's like, well, that question is so simple. It's like, what do you actually want? Right? And that is reflected in your emotional state, your feeling space, your aura, your energy. Ask the people around you. If you are in that space and you're like, you're feeling like confused, but if you're in that space, okay, where you've really found what you love, you're not going to be confused. There's no friggin' way. All right, you will know it. Again, imagine that hammer, you hit it, and that goes all the way up, okay? That's how you'll know. You'll totally know. Okay, you'll know if you're the winner. The buzzer will go off. Everyone will be, the carnival, everyone's going to look over at you because you hit that thing all the way up there. They're all going to know. They're all going to realize, they're going to recognize, okay? And then the guy who is working the station is going to give you a huge teddy bear, and, you know, it's really like that. So, and again, so for those of you who are like in that space and for whatever reason, okay, if you're like, well, is this really, you know, just ask someone around you. How do you think that I feel right now? Do I look like I feel good? Like, what's your impression of me? Okay. And sometimes it really takes another perspective sometimes, right? Like, yes, it's something so personal. It's a matter of what I want, how I feel, but sometimes, you know, it's interesting to get the insight of another, someone in your orbit around you. Okay, and it's kind of interesting that this conversation is coming up around the new moon in Scorpio, right? Because we're really getting down to it. The new moon's like clarifying, right? It's bringing the vision in. It's honing it in. Now, whatever it is that you concentrate on around this time, Scorpio, will kind of set the stage for what manifests. It can. Always a matter of also how you manage that energy space, but can set the stage for what it is that you see come in full circle about 6 months later, right? When the full moon in Scorpio will peak. All right, so we'll see. We're going to touch base again. All right. And we're going to see how this energy culminates. All right. So it's like, it's interesting, right? Because sometimes, again, you'll find that having that foil really brings light to a certain situation, right? And it could be a situation that you're in. It could be even a relationship, right? It's like, I don't know. Am I happy in this space? Like, people will reflect that for you. Okay, like if you're happy, that will be contagious. That will feed, right, into the people around you. And there will be no question of that feeling there. Okay, so if you see, wow, you know what, I'm just like attracting really positive experiences. I'm really connecting with people on a positive level. Damn, it's good. It feels good, right? And when you're in that state and you know there's no question of it, that's when you know that you're flowing. Okay, so again, that space of sort of interaction with those around you will really give you that sort of reflection point. All right, so again, it's even like this. Like I'm imagining, let's say we end here with the Son of Cups. Yep, it's all about that, the emotional space. It's not really about the standard. I'm hearing that specifically here with the Emperor here in reverse. It's not about how do we say what we feel. Don't worry about that, okay? It's like first it's the feeling, right? It's like if you know, I have so many dreams, I feel so much, I want to create so much, I feel also so much around me in my environment, right? It's how is it that is real for me and not a space that I need to kind of like identify as anything in particular physically, I'm hearing as well. Okay, publicly. So, you know, it's kind of like what's the persona? So for those of you who have actually like this Scorpio energy coming through in your midheaven, coming through also in a public way, I'm hearing also in a physical way. For those of you who have Scorpio rising, for example, Pluto conjunct the angle, Pluto in the 10th house. I'm hearing in the 8th house as well for a number of you. This energy, and if you know, I know that eventually I am to carry this energy out in a public way. If you're at that space of crossroads of how do I know I have this ability, but how do I really channel it? It's the focus of what you feel and gravitating towards that space that holds that feeling for you. Okay, so it's like I want to feel. That's the point. I need to feel. Now I'm almost imagining even like an actor, right? It's like, is it really about the stage first, right? Is it really about the stage that then makes the actor feel what the actor feels, right? It's like the actor embodies that character, and the conversation happens between that space and its interpreter. Very interesting. So it's like we're not responsible ultimately also for how our message is translated for those around us. Okay, so for those of you who know your work is going public, oh my, okay, you know that, you feel that, but you might be at that point where you're like, oh gosh, what is my image really gonna be here? Okay, don't worry about that. All right, that's what I'm getting here. Always take as you will. General reading. All right. Son of Cups, though, here mirroring the Emperor. It's like, and the Emperor, again, is in reverse. Son of Cups is upright, and the Son of Cups has the 9 of Cups. Your ammo here is your emotional honesty with yourself. What is it that I feel? What is it that I see? And what is the space that I fill in with that feeling, right? Rather than, this is the physical space. This is where my abilities will adapt to. No, man, right? I'm hearing that specifically here with the Emperor in reverse. This is for a number of you, all right? It's like, this is not about creating the space, perhaps, and then filling it in, okay? And that might be where the pressure is for a number of you, where you're like, I don't know how to start this thing. I'm hearing that as well. And it might be a relationship for a number of you. You have the Empress, peeking out from the main stack, and you have the Emperor as well in reversible, and both in reverse, or something that maybe is a theory at this point where you're like, I think that this could work. I feel this has potential. I feel like I could eventually experience this on a whole new scale, perhaps publicly for a number of you. Well, if that is the case, again, it's really a matter of managing the emotion that you feel for it, managing the emotional also person that you will be in that space, right? It's not about like the Emperor and his clothing. Okay. It's about what is it that the Emperor is actually is actually experiencing in that space, because that's who you will be in that moment. All right. So it's like, maybe for a number of you feel like, oh my gosh, I have this opportunity. Okay. And maybe it's a lot of pressure. Maybe you feel like I have an opportunity and I don't want to miss out on it. I feel like I have to be something or someone in that space. Again, for no reason, especially publicly, or maybe something you have to present, something you have to create the space for as well with another. It could be a collaborative space as well for a number. Whatever that space may be for you, right? There is a public side to it, right? We're not discounting that, but there will be a certain evolution to it. To say it in this way, what you think it kind of represents in a certain way is an illusion, because it does transform in the space of creating through it. So in other words, okay, let's say that you see an opportunity, you're like, I see this as something that could be something amazing, all right? And then you look at that and you're like, in theory, I feel, and perhaps you think also in practice, I would need to kind of, play that one role as that one type of person. Okay, let's say that that's the idea in your head in some kind of way, or in the head of another as you might perceive it. Okay, and let's say there's pressure around that space. Now, whatever that construct is of that character, right? It's like kind of, it's meaningless, right? It's kind of like abstract. It's right. No, we're still here, right? We're still here. Yes, we're live. It's irrelevant, because when we are in that role as actually participating in that space actively, the space is then created. So in other words, it's like, I'm not just this one person and I just stand on stage and I have this potential and I am that person and that is what the party is about. Okay. And that might be what you feel though, and it absolutely can be related. You might be, again, playing it in a really, really public space, and there's a focus on how you present yourself, absolutely. But at the end of the day, there is a mission. I'm hearing that specifically, that you feel emotionally connected to, sentimentally connected. This came through in a number of readings already, and I'm not seeing your comments. I do hope that we are still on. Okay. And so, right. So there could be some kind of focus on, I feel that there is also perhaps a starting point for a number of you. Like, I need to introduce myself. I'm hearing that as well. I feel like I need to invite also them to this space as well. All right. Which makes me feel like I need to identify myself in it as well. All right. So, again, though, it's like at that point when you do connect in that space, naturally it evolves, right? And it's almost like that third entity energetically that kind of comes through in that moment. This is for a number of you, the Empress and the Emperor, especially if you have someone who you feel a very strong connection with and you're really afraid of approaching them. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. Always take it as you will. What is fear? But, and is it, synonymous with passion, with power? Always take it as you will. The question of what we do with it. The Son of Cups, you're looking at the Emperor and the Empress, and do we really do anything with it at all? So, okay, again, take it as you will, their perception of it. But the Son of Cups here, again, there's something of, if that is the case, let's say that you have this also in your mind, you're like, I have this priority, this ideal, this standard. I need to be this one type of person, to be this, the one who tells this one type of story to my audience, I'm hearing as well. At the end of the day, I'm hearing it's an immersion of your senses. And so maintaining that connection and holding it intact is the most important thing I'm hearing at this point in time. For many of you, there's a focus on meditation. For a number of you, perhaps you're even calling in your divine counterpart. I'm hearing that as well with the Empress in reverse, Son of Cups. What is the vibration that we truly wish to see ourselves living through the lens of? Is it an idea? Is it a concept? Or is it an actual frequency? And so for a number of you, this is a matter of elevating your vibration to the level where you feel that you are harnessing not the concept, okay, but the conversation emotionally that you are to experience. Interesting. So for a number of you, this is about vulnerability, but I'm seeing it, for a number of you, it's really high vibration here that I'm feeling here with the Empress in reverse, the Nine of Cups upright, the Son of Cups. For a number of you, this connection is so deep. All right, this goes for a number of you lifetimes back. Not gonna lie. Emperor and the Empress in reverse. Okay. We're talking about prehistoric. Okay. Passion. All right. This is like the tree in reverse, it's growing underground, and that's what we're talking about. So for a number of you, this is, how do I also rescale this? How do I connect with this connection in a whole new way? How do I interpret it? How do I reinterpret it? How do I redefine it? And, at certain points in that process, I'm hearing there is pain. I'm hearing it strikes us. We feel the fear of what we want most. Wow. So yeah, I'm hearing for a number of you, it's really that point where you get to that feeling space of, wow, passion actually can hurt. It can also hurt me. It's a matter of what I define it as, what I do with it, with that emotion, with that feeling space. And for a number of you, it's your paint. I'm hearing it in that way. That's what you create the canvas, the portrait with. It's your emotion, Scorpio. I'm hearing don't fear it. I'm hearing feel it. Okay, so for a number of you, there's something that you're reconnecting with also as an ability of yours, all right? Where you're like, man, I can go so deep. Holy moly, moly, moly. Molly, I'm hearing, do you have any more of that, that thing you mentioned, that thing, whatever that thing was. Do you have more of that? Like, there's something that I'm hearing eraser here with the Nine of Cups upright and the Sun. Like, sometimes maybe some of you feel like, I feel so much that it gets to the point where I don't want to feel anymore. Okay. And I'm seeing like this pair of sunglasses on my desk. I'm like, almost, I feel compelled to like put them on right now. Like, I don't know, that's so weird. It's like, if you think about sunglasses, it's like you're covering up it's ironic because you see through your eyes, but then you're putting this lens on that covers up how you see, but you still see, but you're just now seeing through a certain lens. So it's like maybe for a number of you, you know that you have this tendency to get also emotionally wrapped up in certain situations. Perhaps you feel like I have that tendency to really, really take it that far. Maybe for a number of you feel like you're having visions. Okay, big time, big time, big time. Like, holy shit, I am having a fantasy, okay, about this future. Now, I'm hearing together. Now, whatever it is, Scorpio, you know that you have that ability, okay? I'm hearing it is also related to your power, right? Your imagination. If you think about the ability to fantasize, you're able to think outside of the context of what kind of is, okay? You're able to transcend that reality. Now, does that help or hinder? I'm hearing that specifically here with the Nine of Cups and the Son of Cups. I'm hearing, what do we really actually, what do we actually connect to in that space? I'm hearing radio frequentially, perhaps for a number of you here with the Son of Cups and the Nine of Cups. And wow, you got the Nine of Wands as well. You got 2 9s, it's the fire and water. You've got the Son of Cups and mirroring the Nine of Wands upright. This is the apex for every Scorpio, and the Devil is in reverse. Is it in reverse? Yeah, it's in reverse. I mean, at the mercy of this mission statement. I'm hearing that you feel you are to make. Now, for a number of you, I'm seeing as well, there's this other clue that you might get. Okay, you're like, you know, no matter what it is that I do. Okay. And I'm seeing somebody's like, you know, they're kind of like talking to someone else. I'm hearing the therapist, I'm hearing the mother for another number of you. They're like, no matter what it is that I do, where it is that I go, I could be traveling. Hello, Samantha. No, I could be in another country, okay, completely. I'm hearing on my nomadic adventure there, okay. You know, with my GoPro, underwater, under the sea, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't know what, I mean, that theme song is kind of like speaking to you, but whatever it is, Scorpio, right? It's like, I could be also having, you know, a certain also fantasy. I could be, you know, immersed in a certain imaginative also space. I'm hearing vision. Now, whatever that may be for a number of you, okay? It's like, no matter what it is, again, I'm seeing telling someone that, Scorpio, all right? You're like, no matter what it is that I do, I say, I tell myself, I start, I end, I restart, I recreate, I recompose, I decompose, and I dissolve, I still come back to this one point of passion, of what I feel. Oh my goodness, Scorpio. And so this is something that perhaps you feel like it's cyclical even, it's repetitive. The way that it reminds you also of what you feel. Interesting. So for a number of you, this is maybe even a space that you're involved in, and it kind of like reflects for you. It like makes something very obvious for you. It could even be, yes, big time, a series of experiences. Okay, for number, this could even be relationships, especially if you've had 9 relationships specifically. I'm seeing the moon as well. That could be focused on that archetype. Okay. But there's something here related to women. I'm hearing the moon, specifically mother. Okay. Anyways, number 9 here for a number of you, like, especially if you've been in like 9 relationships, this is real clear for a number of you. It's like in every relationship, I come down to the same point. I'm hearing that again. Like, through these experiences, I've seen a certain side of also myself that I'm hearing I want to say something about. Wow. So for number, this is really okay, Scorpio. We're getting somewhere here. Yes, I promise. This is a matter of your story. Telling your story. I'm hearing storytelling. Okay, I'm hearing for your father. I don't know what that's related to. Father figure, the Emperor in reverse and the Devil in reverse for a number of you. For those who are, I'm hearing tech crunch. I'm hearing junkies. Okay, I don't know what that's related to, but something that maybe you feel like I want to talk about the feminine here. I'm hearing that specifically with the Empress in reverse, the Son of Cups. Like I want to talk about, I'm hearing specifically, remember, the divine feminine. I'm hearing also feminism. I'm hearing the feminist culture. I'm not sure what that might be alluding to for a number of you. Always take it as you will. All right, everything is a concept, and it's just a matter of how you kind of direct it to speak of something in particular for you. All right, so take it as you will. But there's something that maybe you feel like, I want to talk about the power of the feminine as well. The female, the image, the female image. I'm hearing that for a number of you. The Son of Cups mirroring the Empress in reverse is kind of coming through, Scorpio. But all right, now we have the Father of Cups on the ground. So what's this about? All right, you got the Father of Cups on the ground. You got the Star there as well. Mirroring the Son of Cups. For a number of you, you got the Fool mirroring, the Father of Cups, the Star. You perhaps have a lot of Aquarius in your chart. You could be a Scorpio with a lot of Aquarius in your chart. I'm hearing charged. For a number of you, there's something that is a space that you feel is incredibly charged. Perhaps you feel that whatever this space is, it's also complicated, I'm hearing, but let's not go there. I'm seeing it's more so something that even you feel, is something that is actually growing as well. And it could be an ability of yours. It could be, even the ability of channeling. You feel energy. You walk into a room, you meet someone, and oh my, you feel like you meet everyone in their aura also. You're like, I am interacting with your spirit guides. Hello. You're like waving at someone behind them and they're like, are you talking? What are you doing? Whatever that is, it could be an ability of yours. And unicorn, woo! Yeah, so it's like, whatever that is, right? That is kind of a sign. It's like something that you feel. I'm hearing everything is also perhaps you get signs, you feel like you get even concepts that are kind of like, I'm hearing out of range, maybe for you channel. You actually get insights. You get visions. Yes, medium. And so, yeah, you got a lot of Scorpio in your chart. I would not be surprised to know that you are incredibly intuitive. It's dinner time. I have to go, boo. See ya. Bye, Gypsy. That's that Aquarius, Scorpio. She's got a lot of Aquarius, Scorpio. All right. I just called you out there, Gypsy. I hope you don't mind. Star and the Four of Pentacles. You've mentioned it on the channel here and there. So Lilith in Aquarius, Saturn, Aquarius, Pluto, and Scorpio. Yeah, so the Ten of Swords in reverse, Four of Pentacles, the Star, and the Four of Cups, the Father of Cups. Father of Cups is mirroring the Ten of Swords. That's so cute. Everyone's like, bye, Gypsy. Oh my goodness. I did a Sagittarius reading today, and I can't wait to post it because it's just so cute. Like, there are these ducks in there. Oh, I love it. Bye, Gypsy. I have Mars in Aquarius. What does it mean? Oh, it can mean so much. Depends on so many factors in the birth chart. There could be so many factors at play, right? So many factors at play. The house it's in, for example. But generally, Mars in Aquarius. Bye, Gypsy. Having a moment there, guys. All right. I feel like a kid at school who's like, they're saying bye to their friend, like in kindergarten. I don't know. And their parent is like watching them like say bye to their friends. I don't know what. Anyway. Anywho, so yeah. And so yeah, what were we saying? what were we not saying? We've been saying a lot here, Scorpio, for you, haven't we? Oh my. Love and light to you, Samantha. All right, so yeah, what were we just saying? Oh yeah, she was saying Mars and Aquarius. So in general statement. It's like capital Mars and Aquarius is what we were saying. Mars and Aquarius. Oh yes, and the Ten of Swords. We're gonna get to that in just a moment. And so hair floating around. Mars and Aquarius, generally, if you've got all the Pisces energy in the house. I don't know why I'm hearing that song. All the single ladies. I don't know why that might be synonymous with the Pisces energy, but in me at least. Okay, anyways. You sure did the detox intuitive. And so, yeah, a cute Sagittarius reading with ducks. Oh, yeah. And it was actually in the exact same spot. Thanks so much, Moon Goddess 46. Love and light to you. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm glad to hear that, Michael. And so, yeah, like Sagittarius and the ducks floating by. But that was in, it was in the same spot that the last Sagittarius reading was filmed in the last Sagittarius outdoors reading. So, real interesting how it kind of came back around full circle there. I'll hopefully post that tonight. Anyways, or this morning. Okay. losing track of time like a true Pisces would. Okay, this is like the test. That's how you know I'm really a Pisces. Okay. That's how you really know. Okay? Now, so, what were we saying? Mars and Aquarius. Yeah. I love you too. I love you too. I love you too. And so, yeah, so it's like there's this Mars and Aquarius brings this intellectual sort of air and energy to the more physical aspect of our being, right? Mars is all about how we assert, how we physically also direct a certain space, how we act physically, how we physically move. And in Aquarius, there is kind of like perhaps this I'm hearing didactic nature to it. Interesting. Some kind of space of also where we interpret, but in almost like, it's interesting because I'm seeing it as like in a logical way. Now, if we think about Aquarius, it's interesting. Why? Because it is an air sign. But Aquarius is kind of interesting in that it also rules abstract thinking, right? Like progressive thinking, out of the box. It's all about the revolution, all about what we see in the future. It actually rules astrology. Aquarius generally rules astrology. It rules... Oh my, somebody's lost. Solavi Studio is commenting, where is the live? It's here. I don't know where even they're commenting that. Anyhow, so, yeah, so it's like, Aquarius is all about, I can see the future, right? Again, it rules astrology. It rules also, channeling. You got a lot of Aquarius in your chart, you will see the future. Okay. So you can. And so, it harnesses that sort of space of eccentricity as well. It's kind of like that Einstein sort of energy. I believe Einstein was a Pisces. I think he also had his Mercury in Pisces, but I would imagine that he'd have a lot of Aquarius as well. I believe he did. He actually, I believe, channeled a lot of his work, which is so interesting. When I heard about that, when I read on that, because you think mathematics, science, but is that truly, right, that Aquarian sort of energy we're just talking about? Like, it rules science, but then it also rules this eccentricity, this ability, and this even fascination with seeing what exists outside of the paradigm of the practicality. Also, I'm hearing that specifically. Okay, so yeah, so there could be this sort of intellectual air, but not only this ability to also see how, Scorpio, like everything may relate. Okay. And so it's kind of, in a more simple way, you can also see it as well when you take actions, right, on, Aquarius is an incredibly giving, altruistically oriented sort of energy as well. They love to bring people together. Aquarius loves the group mentality. Okay, but again, it's interesting because Aquarius also is incredibly independent, right? They love to feel like an individual also, right? And so there is this sort of, this merging of those two kind of concepts. Spectrum vision. Interesting. So it's kind of like, you might feel that your actions are motivated by also, I'm hearing honesty of how a certain conversation can be taking place on a more public level. I'm hearing that as well. That's just an example. Okay, so, and if you got a lot of Aquarius in your chart in general, you might find that you really are drawn to spaces where you bring people together, where you're having a conversation that is really talking about these big concepts and, networking, big groups, social groups, friends, and so on and so forth. Okay, Ten of Swords in reverse, that's how we end it. The Ten of Swords in reverse, this one of Cups upright. For a number of you, I'm seeing that you have something that you really want to see very clearly. The emotion for the space is actually building. For a number, you might feel pressure. Okay, you might feel that you are to also personify a certain character. Now, when it gets to that point where you're really at odds with that space, and it might really reach that point where you're like, okay, I'm hearing it's feeling tense here. The pressure and the passion that I feel, and the person that I feel I need to be in order to accommodate that. That's perhaps there is a space of contention there. If there is, I'm seeing that there comes that point where you're like, again, it's irrelevant. All that matters is the simplicity of the space of my desire, of what I desire. Okay, the simplicity of what I desire. And that then kind of causes this release, this absolute release of everything that we thought defined the space of how our emotion and our imagination would eventually transcribe our message for us in the, I'm hearing future, interesting, in the physical dimension as well. So for a number of you, this is, I'm hearing right off the bat, perhaps even a negotiation, something that you feel you are to kind of manifest, okay, bring full circle, to even manage the space of, maybe you feel that you are playing some sort of role where you need to work with people through a certain space, and you might feel that pressure where you're like, okay, I need to be the teacher here. I'm hearing that specifically here with the Father of Cups. It could be on an energetic level, absolutely spiritually with yourself as well. You're like, I have this also, again, this emphasis on perhaps the space that I hold spiritually. And maybe no one will really be in touch or in tune with that on a conscious level, or at least professionally. I'm hearing that publicly. Like, no one's gonna come up to me and be like, yeah, your vibe, you're on a roll there. Like, I don't know what, maybe that's something that you feel like no one will know when I'm on my point there. Okay, when I'm in resonance and in harmony, when I feel comfortable. Okay, you know, all right. So whatever it is, and it could also be in the way of, yeah, I'm hearing specifically like you feel perhaps for number use a private space, okay, and only you know when you have also created the space for it to live through harmoniously. Okay, so oh my, there's a focus on pacification of passion, even in terms of how we feel that we can be kind of comfortable in that space of creating what it is that we really want. And, you know, if this is something that you feel a great deal of emotion for, then, you know, it's kind of like, well, how do we eventually invest in that space also physically down the line? And will it come full circle? Will it make sense? Again, what I'm getting for a number of you is that it's a matter not so much of strategy. I'm hearing not so much of strategizing who and how and what, but what we feel in the moment of no matter who and no matter what and no matter where it is that we play our role out as. So for a number of you realize emotion is indispensable. It is my influence, I'm hearing as well, my attraction. And this is another thing. You may find that in those moments, Scorpio, where you are merging with your senses, where you are not resisting also that space of emotion that you feel, you immediately, like a moth to a freaking flame, Scorpio, I'm hearing Sagittarius as well, like a moth to a flame, you attract the experiences that you dream of. Wow. So it's like, it's that kind of thing, Scorpio, right? I'm seeing that you're coming to a point of clarity with that here, and you're drawing closer. Okay, the Father of Cups and the Son of Cups, they're drawing closer here to the Eight of Wands. I'm hearing the conversation, the Seven of Swords in reverse, the Eight of Wands upright, the Ace of Cups upright. We know what this is about. We know what we want to eventually make of this. But again, not in a way that we feel we need to interpret what comes of it. All right, so I'm saying like that's a really clear distinction. It's not so much like, this is what I want to manifest, and this is what it has to be, and that's how I will know that I've created it and that I'm on the right track. It's by way of how it kind of matches that one ideal that I've created in my mind of it. Like, not so much, right, Scorpio, yet again. I'm back going to, like, emphasize that point. I'm seeing the Son of Cups is looking at the Eight of Wands, like, the point is the change, right? Look at these two cards, Scorpio. Son of Cups and the Eight of Wands. Right? It's like, they kind of, if they were to look at each other logically, okay, there's no real, like, feasible interaction between these two. It's not like the Son of Cups is using the wands, right? It's not the wands really is, like, anywhere even remotely close to the duck on the pond, right? Or, like, what's going on here, right? There's no, like, I mean, this is fire, we're talking fire, and we're talking water. We're talking a fire card, number 8, and a water court card, the Son of Cups, right? It's like, how, if you had these two characters, when would you ever think that they would actually also react to one another? Interesting. Okay. And so there's something that perhaps, it's like the Son of Cups is looking at the Eight of Wands. Now, I want to say this as well. Who can see a point of assimilation here. Where is it that there is assimilation between these two cards? If you're looking at these two, where is it that they do in a certain way? They could have something to kind of mutually talk about. And it would be different for everyone, you know, what you see in that space of connection. But what's interesting is, interesting. Heart. Anan. Like, that's what caught my eye, right? It's like, yes, what lights them up. It's like, it is all the same concept, right? In a certain way. There is a focus on the creative medium. The transfer of the vision. I'm seeing that here specifically with this. If you look at this lightning bolt strike, right? It's like this multicolored sort of, also I'm hearing sensation. I'm hearing sensational also ability. It's like what creates change is that one chance also I'm hearing that we take to change the way the game is played, right? We take the sort of monotony and we say something bold out of the blue. We say something that tells everyone that we are saying something that hasn't been said before. Interesting. I'm hearing that specifically here. Son of Cups here, looking at the Eight of Wands. And it's like, if you look at the Son of Cups, right, card, if you look at this cup, right, with which he sort of creates, also I'm hearing his fantasy. It's the same sort of color palette, right? These multi-colors. So it's like there's this focus on change, right? Creation in some way, right? These two cards, they both acknowledge the desire for creation in some kind of way. And so the Son of Cups is looking at the Eight of Wands like, you know, it's not really about like what was and what will be, right? It's like there's no real focus on, you know, once this lightning bolt strikes, we know exactly where every wand will fly off to and how it will strategically interact with, you know, another part of the puzzle, or with another piece of this puzzle that we thought we also, I'm hearing, understood or knew. It is not really about the understanding or the negation of any particular space of consciousness here. I'm hearing that specifically. It is a matter of the desire to start, right? And the Son of Cups is, yes, an emotional sort of energy space, right? It is related to the Cups suit. It is water, but it is also enterprising in its own way, right? The Son of Wands, okay, it's not so much, let's say, like necessarily the Son of Wands who's like, I'm here, I'm taking action, here's my wand, my lasso, my bird who's the messenger flying up ahead of me is gonna, you know, it's like, this is more of a, I'm hearing a color that manifests. Okay, and if you think about emotion, you can see emotion as a kind of color as well. You know, it's a channeling of the emotional space that also leads to creation in a certain way, right? So every element speaks of creation, and that's how the Magician card even, right, is what it is in a certain way, because it harnesses all of the elements to create. Right, the first card in the Major Arcana following the Zenith card, the Fool. So, you know, it's like every element is relevant to the concept of creation. They create in their own ways. So it's kind of like, you know, the Son of Cups looking at the Eight of Wands is a reminder that we don't really necessarily know where our creation leads. We don't necessarily know, and it's not our responsibility to know where our emotion actually leads. The environment, I'm hearing as well, in terms of the reaction. So for a number of you, as I feel it, you come down to really the point of knowing is that you want to make something of what you feel. That's all you know. I'm hearing that specifically. All you know is that you feel so deeply for a certain space as well, and that you want to create something with that feeling. Okay, it's like, I have this feeling and I know I got to do something with it. Okay, And if you feel sometimes frustrated, you're like, I feel like I'm frustrated, I feel like there's tension, in terms of practicing that emotion I'm hearing in real time, perhaps for memory, or practicing that emotion in quote unquote real life, taking action on it in some way. It may be that sort of pressurized space of, well, I feel it and I feel like I'm not acknowledging it. Perhaps for memory, because you wonder, well, if I were to acknowledge it, what would that create the space for the practice of later? Interesting. So it's like you might be thinking, well, what could come if I were to express this feeling that I really have? What could come of this environment? Also, I'm hearing specifically, what would the change look like? And again, it takes us back to that Emperor in reverse and the Empress in reverse, right? Where it's like, that's the point, right? You have a magnet that connects, but what they actually connect on the point of what they lead to the creation of, right? The magnetism, what is the purpose that it serves? I'm hearing that specifically, right? Like if you have a battery and it's like charging in its port, what is, okay, there's an attraction there, there's something happening, but what is it actually, you know, is it for the remote control? If so, what is the remote control used for? You know, it's like, what's the point of also merging? So for a number of you, this is a matter of manifestation and how it is that you feel connected in that space of manifesting. For a number of you, you feel a whole lot emotionally, and maybe it's been a matter of getting comfortable in that space of those feelings. Okay. And so for a number of you, maybe you even have this Scorpio energy in your chart that speaks of how you manage your emotion a certain way as well. You could have a Scorpio moon for a number of you, and it could be, oh my goodness, I feel so much. What do I do with this? What do I do with this feeling? How do I dance with this emotion? It feels so heavy. Okay, like I'm actually seeing a dancer, and they're like, they have this, like, they feel like they have this emotion, and that it's like obvious to everyone around them because they feel it so deeply. And isn't that so interesting about the Scorpio archetype, right? I find this so interesting about the Scorpio archetype. They feel like so deeply about things, right? They literally, and they look at everything, they analyze it, they look at it, they look through it, they feel it, they process it, they compare it, they store it, they come back to it, they stop, they look, they rewind, okay, and they sense it, right? So there's this whole, like, timeline of how they interact with certain experiences in the world. And oftentimes, it's completely impossible to tell that that's happening. Now you can look at a Scorpio and they look like they're cool. They're cool as can be. They're too cool, actually. They're too cool. Okay? To call it out, all right, as well. I'm not sure what that's alluding to, but you know, it's like you know, it's not always going to be obvious, right? Like, it's not going to be obvious to those around them. But here's the thing, okay? And I'm a Pisces sun, but I got a Scorpio in my chart, right? Yet again. So I can't speak for Scorpio sun necessarily, but I can imagine, all right? And knowing that I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, the feeling could be, and still Pisces is water, right? So we could also be speaking to some level and a certain dimension to the element of water in general, right? If we're talking in scales. But specifically Scorpio, okay, feels so deeply that there is almost like this feeling of hysteria, like almost like paranoia, like, thank you so much. Oh, who's that? From the tower. Woo! Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for your dear support, love and light to you from the tower. All right. And so, you know, it's like there can be, right, this feeling of paranoia where it's like, I feel like, because see, Scorpio feels double of everything even, right? It can. It's like, you know, someone feels a certain emotion to like this level. Well, Scorpio takes that and feels it like to this level. Okay, they feel also the emotions around that emotion. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they can. It's like something that it also requires a lot of energy. I'm hearing that specifically for a number of you, maybe even the part of Scorpio in your chart, it speaks of, it relates to the part of even your physical body that is related to energy. So for a number of you, when you feel something emotionally, especially if Scorpio in your first house or related to your Mars, you will feel it physically. Okay, it's almost like also perhaps you feel like it's almost reflected in your physical body in some way. You feel energy also in your physical body. Now, whatever it is, Scorpio, right? It creates this impression that others can see it too. Okay, others can feel it too. Oh my, I think everyone feels my aura. It's like that kind of thing. I feel that way oftentimes. And so if that is the case, talk to my adrenals. If that is the case, right, then there can almost be this effect of like overcompensation. Oh my goodness, I feel like everyone, I'm 6 of us walking in the room, I feel like everyone can see how I feel right now. Okay, I feel like everyone can see how I feel right now. Okay, now again, I'm speaking personally from Scorpio rising, right? Pluto in my first house, the moon in the first house. Moon in the first house is very expressive. Okay, people might find that they see it. They can. So, but let's backtrack. The feeling is again, Scorpio walking in a room. Oh my goodness, okay. And they tell themselves, look, okay, we're not saying anything about this emotion that you're feeling right now. I know that you feel this, all right, but keep it between us, all right? Pluto, me and you. So, for a number of you, there perhaps is this feeling, and this exact energy actually came through in the Aquarius reading, in the Virgo reading. It was I think also the Taurus reading. Yeah, it was there was this feeling of hysteria almost. Oh my goodness. I think that they can see how I have been talking to my grandma about this. I'm hearing in my mind for 30 years. I don't know what that's linked to. On Living Cloud 33. Love and light to you. Thank you for tuning in. As long as you have. Yeah, it's getting kind of long. 1:16:40. See, this is how you know I'm Pisces. For real, though. Because I'm just flying and I'm not even... Oh gosh, but how's everyone feeling? You have energy? Oh, you're gonna stay. All right. So yeah, how do I conduct my personal readings? Skype. That's if it's a live reading. If you want a live reading, that's not available on the website. You can email me at alchemyandyou@gmail.com. That's so sweet, the revolution of love and light to you. Thank you so much for your dear support. Connecting in this dimension. Yeah, it is 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh my God. Well, for me, what time is it, guys? Hold on a second. Now, given that we're operating in this dimension, what's the time? 2:41. Okay, yeah, but we're still in the physical body. See, I got so much water in my chart. Sometimes I really forget that. Alrighty. So yeah, anyhow, so what were we saying? I want pancakes. What was that? So yeah, the personal readings, is if it's live, it's via Skype. If it's pre-recorded, then, I will, I could use a waffle. Oh man. What's AV? Okay. So anyways, if it's pre-recorded, then I will it's like the public readings, but the public version of it. So I'll just meditate on your energy and then post it. Skype it is. Woohoo! All right. So yeah. By the way, where do you guys all live? Am I in NYC? Not now. Not right this moment. Where do you guys live? Thank you, Empress, for tuning in. Do you love Justin Bieber? I love everyone. Australia. Are you? NYC. I feel like a lot of people are from New York, Philippines, Nevada. Interesting. Cali. I hope you're not near the fires. Kansas City, Montreal, Philippines. Oh, interesting. Few in the Philippines. Maui. Oh, I was there not too long ago. Massachusetts. I love Mass. Something special about Massachusetts. Georgia, London, Montana, Mississippi. The city don't sleep. Oh my god, wait, you guys, Scorpio, now that we're, in your season, now we're here in your reading on the new moon in Scorpio, what are you guys doing for Halloween? I think I want to do like a special reading. I feel like I gotta do a special reading. I'm gonna dress up and do some, Cover International. It's so sweet of you. Thank you. I'm originally from Los Angeles. But it's funny because my family just did like a DNA test, and I think that we do have, well, who wants to guess? I love throwing it out there. Someone was talking about this, I think, in one of the comments. They were like, I don't want to offend you, but what is your race? And I think like I got like 10 more comments on that. And everyone's like, actually, yeah, Afghan, not quite, but close. Kinda close. Mediterranean. I've never been to India. So last year channeled my Aquarius, it resonated, so I said, say my name, and you said, I'm hearing Lisa, leave me alone. Did I really? What? Oh, that's too weird. It's interesting how sometimes that happens. Funny story, I gotta say this. It's so interesting, all right? This is like a testament to, sometimes in the moment, we're like, what am I channeling? What's coming through? Gosh, right? Sometimes it doesn't always make sense, but depending on how we're looking at it, if we're looking at it from the expectation that it should make sense according to a certain way that things normally make sense. Okay, but birth chart. If you want us to work on it one-on-one, if you want me to look at your personal birth chart, then you can find that service via alchemy.com. Or you can go to astro.com, you can type in your birth information, you can learn about your chart, see your placements, Google it, so on and so forth. All right, so whatever you feel guided to do. But I think we do have history in Israel. Okay, anyways, let's backtrack. Now, there was this one reading I did, and it was like, in the middle of the reading, I remember, it was like, okay, I think it was Aquarius or Virgo. It was like either Aquarius or Virgo, all right? And like this reading was talking about someone who's like a perfectionist, all right? And it's like they're planning something, they're preparing something. I think it was the Virgo reading. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so thirsty. One second, let me just really quickly get water bottle. Okay. And so, it's interesting to think as well, I just feel like saying this, water is so powerful, right? Water actually holds energy. Can you think of that? Water holds memory as well. And the effect that the moon has on bodies of water, and we are mostly made of water, right? That's why they say the moon affects us so deeply, it can impact us so deeply, it's, can be part of the reason. How it affects, the tides. Okay, so let's get into it. What were we saying? Anyways, it just makes you think, like, if you prey upon also your water, right? And thus your own body, your own vessel, how that can kind of change your reality. Interesting, huh? Always take it as well. What's your reality, right? And what has changed? But anyhow, before we get on that train, okay, going in that direction. On that note, I'm gonna drink some more water. Okay. Now. Okay. Yeah. Now, I know Gypsy Roses, she mentioned this one time. She was like, when you start drinking from, I know she's not here, she left. When she watches this over, she'll comment again, I'm sure. But, or she'll just email me in true Scorpio moon fashion. No, anyways, let's not get too far into her chart, publicly. But anywho, she was like, yeah, when you start drinking from a reusable water bottle, then I will order a personal reading from you. Okay, so I used to drink from a filtered water, but ever since I moved, I couldn't hook it up to the sink here. So now I'm drinking bottled water, but it's not in plastic. All right. So just a side note there, but anywho, hopefully I'll get this the filter also hooked up at a certain point and still drink this. I like this water also. Anywho, always follow your intuition with what you drink and how you drink it. I'm hearing that as well. All right. Anyways, let's backtrack now. So I'm so happy to hear that. AD. All right. Now, yeah. So again, I was doing this reading. It was for Virgo. Now, in the reading, it was like talking about someone who's a freaking perfectionist. All right. They're like, you know, they're planning something, but they literally are planning to the level and the degree where they just like completely like they miss the whole goddamn event. Okay, like whatever they thought that they were planning like perfectly, they completely like, they miss it. Okay, maybe they just arrive late, like whatever it is. All right, and so but at a certain point in that reading, like this one line came through, and I think it was like an analogy or something. It was like, you know, you're just like on that train, and I will ride it all the way, okay, to the end of the road, okay, of the end of the line, all right, to the last stop, and I will ride it all the way back, okay. If that means me being consumed in what I'm doing and really like completing it, whatever it is, and so I like did that reading, and I was like, huh. Oh man, riding the subway all the way down to the end of the line. What? And I was like thinking like that's so interesting. Okay, anyways. And at the moment, I'm thinking, and it's a Virgo reading, right? So I'm not a Virgo sun. My Venus is in the 6th house. All right. But yeah, it was either a Virgo Aquarius. Anyways, and I don't have a whole ton of Aquarius either in my chart, but again, that's a testament also to how we all can vibrate with all of these energies, right? All 12 signs. All have them in our chart somewhere. So you might watch all 12 signs, and they might manifest, they might come through in different ways in your chart. Anyways, so I remember doing that reading. I'm like, right, it was such a particular vision. It was like someone riding the subway all the way to the end of the line, coming all the way back because they were so consumed in the thing they missed their stop. Okay. Fast forward like 1 month. Okay, I'm at the end of October. I think it was the October reading. You know, mid part, towards the end, tail end of October, and I'm like on this. So funny. I was on the subway, and I was like watching one of my readings. It was this reading. Okay, and it was like I was getting so caught up in the reading because I watch all the signs, right? Also, and I do feel like that it resonates absolutely in their own ways. But I'm watching this reading, and I'm like getting so lost in it, so consumed in it, and it's literally at that moment I realized I completely missed my stop. In that exact reading, at that exact moment, I remember I was standing outside at the last station on the line, on the metro, and I literally was holding my iPad, watching the reading, and I'm looking at myself channeling this shit. Like, you will go all the way to the end of the line. I'm like, God damn it. Gosh, I should take this whole 12 sign thing more seriously. Yeah, we really are all 12 signs. I'm Pisces sun, but gosh, Virgo had some advice there for me. Yeah, it's so funny, man. Gosh, like, and so, you know, it's interesting how it comes through sometimes. You know, sometimes it's literally, yeah, in the true Pisces fashion. Like, I'm just, like, sitting there, like, yeah, anyways, so really, really, really interesting how energy manifests, right? Or how it moves and how we interact with it, how we perceive it. But yeah, so all right. Anyhow, Son of Cups and the Ten of Cups, and the Temperance card, and Interesting. How do you charge water? How do you charge anything? That's what I would imagine. You got to look into this. Interesting thought. Silver. I also was watching something on the copper. And I would imagine even the moon. Do you? Oh, yeah, Lisa. It's so interesting. Like, it's so fascinating. When you watch, for example, when I watch my Venus, I started picking up on this because sometimes one month, I remember it was while I was in Japan, I did that one reading with the Gemini. I don't know who might remember this. The Gemini, it was like this vision of walking up this windy road. Oh my God, I did that reading and the vision was so clear. And I was thinking, man, like, whoever this is for, like, dang, this is like a big deal. Because the vision was so profound and it was so specific. And gosh, like at the end of that reading, I realized that was everything that I experienced that month, completely down to the detail, the windy road, the interaction, everything. And I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, and that had happened a few times with me, specifically with Gemini, and it got to the point where I was like, wait a second, there's a pattern here. Okay. Now, I have a lot of Gemini in my chart. I do. By way of house placement, I have my North Node, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune in the 3rd house. So I got a lot going on in the house of Gemini. And I also have my Mars in Gemini. So there is a lot of that energy to begin with. Yeah, there's a lot of energy to begin with, but it's like interesting to see how exactly it manifests, how it comes through. So for me, my Mars, I realized it's my Mars that's in Gemini, and that is right one of the personal planets. Mars, one of the fastest moving planets. Personal planets, you might find that those energies might come through pretty strongly. But anyways, let's backtrack now. So I realized, gosh, like specifically the energy of Gemini, like would be coming through in relation to matters of experiences of also Mars for me. Okay. So yeah, it's interesting. All right. It's really, really, really interesting to watch how certain energies can come through. Even though I'm a sun sign Pisces, like for me, matters of relationships, love, creativity, Venus really comes through as well. And in general, for me, Aries, well, my Venus is in Aries. Moon is also in the 1st house, the house of Aries. I also got Pluto there. So there's a lot, that speaks of Aries energy in general. And my Mars is pretty prominently placed with the ruler of Aries. So it's like there's again so many factors. It can be a play. And Scorpio's ruling the house of Aries. And they have the co-rule of Mars. Anyways, let's not go so deep into that. Now, yeah, so it's like, that brought up a lot for me that related to specifically Mars and Aries. So watching my Venus sign, man. I can watch Pisces. All right, I get a lot that comes through there. I'll watch Sagittarius. I get a lot that comes through there. But when I watch Aries, like not that it comes through specifically, but it's the energy is resonant. But when I watch Aries, it's like in Gemini, and again, that's my Mars and my Venus sign. That's where I get a lot of that insight in terms of relationships, partnerships, love, art, partnership, harmony, beauty. If you want to know what's going on in terms of the physical body, Mars sign. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Same Taurus for me being my Mars, right? Do you experience that? It's like fascinating. I feel like it's so interesting how it's like these energies come through in their own ways. Man, I want to see all your comments. This is like such a shame that I have to scroll through all this. Mars and Scorpio. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Queen of Cups, can you tell everyone what that's like, please? Mars and Scorpio. Tell us. Is it true? Do you really get super possessive? What was that like? Whoa, what was your question, Johnny? What was your question? Oh, Michael, really? Mars and Gemini in the 5th house? That's interesting. Oh, you have Gemini in your 3rd and 4th house. Oh my. Okay, wait, let me go back here. And I so don't want to go, but man, I feel like I'm a bad role model at this point. It's like 2 a.m. Okay, no. I just saw the time was 134 minutes and 44 seconds. And yeah, that's a long time, but it is a divine number. Okay, the last four digits were 444. I know that is my guiding number, and spirit guides are like, no, Natalie, don't worry about that. It's all good. All right. It's all, everything for a reason. It's guided. All right, let's see. What was your question? Oh, man, I missed your question again. What was your question? Thank you, Grace. It's so good to hear from you, Cynthia. Love and light to you. A lot of people have like Mars and Venus and Aquarius here. That's interesting. All right, he had a question, but then he disappeared. Where'd he go? Low-key Scorp's dog. Ashley keeps saying 444 at what times? Like in what cases? Mars and Scorpio here. So like, oh, he asked how to increase intuition. Okay. Well, it's interesting because what is intuition? And it's interesting. I posted a reading on this. But specifically, that will be, as I see it, different for everyone. Also, in certain ways, meditation can really be a focus. But I did a reading on this. I would say also the beginning of this reading really speaks to that concept, specifically with the Son of Cups. I would say that the Son of Cups, like that whole part on the Son of Cups, like as water speaks of intuition. And clarifying that, your connection to it, can come through there. Mars and Libra. A lot of people have Mars and Libra, Venus and Libra, a lot of Libra in the chart, Moon and Libra. Thank you, Marley, for clarifying that. Appreciate that. Thank you. Have you ever heard of 2 Scorpio cusp, 1 Scorpio Libra, 1 Scorpio Sag, both 5 planet Scorpios? Me and my brother. Oh my. Wow. I do know one person with 5 planets, okay, in Scorpio, and I'm just getting to know this person, like, just now. I'm just getting to know him, so I'm, like, real interested to see where it all goes. Oh, God. And I think he's got it, like, overlapping the house of Capricorn, 10th house, so it's kind of interesting. Because then it's like that Scorpio energy, but then it's like grounded. So it's like, I wonder like how it would really manifest. I mean, it's overlapping a really public house. So, I knew someone who had like 5 planets in Capricorn in the house of Scorpio. And that was interesting. Okay. Yeah, that manifested in another way. Okay. Mars and Cancer. Oh my. It's interesting because you know what? When I meet someone, I'll almost like immediately what I'll first feel is their Mars. Like it's almost like immediate. It's like I'll feel the element. Like it's interesting. And specifically Mars and Capricorn. There's something about Mars and Capricorn like I just like immediate feeling of recognition. Wow, Donna, I'm so happy we got to connect here live. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support since 2017. Wow, back then. Yeah, of course. I would imagine that it would. OYDK art. I would imagine absolutely that it would. Because at the end of the day, anyways, you've got all elements in your chart, all energies, all archetypes. You've got Scorpio, you've got Sag. Even if you're on the cusp, you still have, right, like all energies in your chart. And even more so, if you're on the cusp, you might find that you really resonate with both archetypes a whole lot. You're talking about your sun, right? Your sun, you're on the cusp. Now, I have a question. Does anybody in the house right now have any planet at 29 degrees? Yeah, they really do act super weird on the full moon and Mercury retrograde. Okay. And I'm not talking about other people, I'm talking about myself. Oh man. Activation protocol of the weirdness factor. Start acting weird and loony. Everything. You know, if it's normal, it's not right. Something's wrong. If somebody's not reacting during a full moon, I think you got to be more fearful, more wary. All right. Full moons are just reactive. They just naturally are. Sun, Mercury, and Pluto in Scorpio. Holy moly. Leo rising at 29 degrees. Okay, there we go. Who are you? Wait. Let's see. Who's that? Is that Danny? Danny. Okay, Danny, you're up to bat. What's it like having a rising sign in Leo at 29 degrees? How do you feel that this energy manifests for you? Here's the mic. You go for it, Danny. We'll all wait here patiently for you to roar. Okay, horrible joke. Let's see. Danny ... me. Yes. Okay. Oh, Jupiter 29. Oh mine. Aries, Michael. We got to get to you next. Okay, but first we got to hear the Leo rising at 29 degrees out here. It's hard, especially with a Scorpio sun. Okay. Why is that? In your perspective, like what is it that makes it? And out of curiosity, what house is your sun in Scorpio? Just curious. Virgo moon. Chart with degrees, Earl. You can go to astro.com, type in your birth information, and it will calculate it for you. Some people mentioned that the calculator on my website is not working. There's something with the code. I'm not a coder. Okay. I don't know. I tried to fix this thing. I do everything myself on the website. So for those of you also who have like issues with your emails, your deliveries, code is going haywire. Like I'm a one person shop. Okay. So yeah, bear with me there. I hope to get that fixed hopefully soon. Yeah, I really wish I could just have somebody who just handled all of that. It'd be awesome. Sun in Capricorn, 28 degrees in the 5th house. Oh my! Saturn sign in the house of the sun. My mom has her Saturn in her 5th house. I think it's with her Jupiter as well. Oh my. Okay. I think I mentioned this in one of the readings. I think it was the Capricorn reading. It's like if you got a lot of Capricorn, you try a lot of Saturn, especially also in interaction with Jupiter or with the sun, the 5th house, and you can speak to if that's a testament or not for you as well here. And again, there could be so many factors at play, but there might be this tendency in general to feel like I got to say no before I can say yes. Okay. I can't just give in so easily. All right. That kind of thing. Ooh, cool, Paul. Email me, alchemyu@gmail.com. Take him out, Lush. Who? Take him out, Lush. Sleazy. Fingers crossed my phone. I wasn't calling you sleazy. I was reading their name of their username. Sleazy Hedgehog. Fingers crossed my phone doesn't die. Me too, to be honest. Yeah, but my gosh. I don't want to go. See, it's that extremist Scorpio energy coming through the new moon. I'm telling you, my third eye is like, feel this portal of energy. I can say I went through a transformation. Young and entrepreneur. Okay. Good night, Ashley. Thank you for tuning in. Love and light to you here. Mars in Aquarius. Sun in Scorpio, 29 degrees. Wait, okay, I just scrolled up and I found this person's post. Hold on, we need to talk to you. PHI